everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So I have just moved my frame. We're going to be working on some vines today. Yeah, a bit more confetti, so it should be interesting, I think. Getting closer to that far right edge. This is row, or column, I should say, 420, and there's 550 or something like that in total, so yeah, we're getting there. I don't think we'll get it this month. No, we definitely won't, I should say. I'm hoping by the end of next month I will manage it, but we will see. By the end of the year, I should say, for sure. I think by the end of December we'll be starting on the next pass across this piece. So, alrighty. Okay, let me take a look here. There, I had to find my remote for my crafting lamp there. Doesn't really show that different on camera, but it does make a difference in real life, I find, when I have that on, because yeah, it's a foggy day outside today. Yeah, I had to take extra care during my walk when crossing the street, make sure nobody was coming in case they can't see me, since the visibility is quite reduced. So yeah, like my mom always said, yeah, you may have the right of way, but you know, don't assume people are gonna stop for you, because yeah, in that kind of a conflict you will lose. Okay, my gosh, starting off with a knot. Yeah, not the most promising beginning. Yeah, so it is still warm enough to walk outside, but I definitely had to bundle up today. I had to dig out my mittens, my earmuffs, and my winter coat. Yeah. Yeah, I prefer to walk outside when I can, so I generally keep that up until it snows. Sometimes I do walk outside when there's snow. It depends on whether the sidewalks are clear enough or not. Yeah. People are supposed to keep theirs clear, but you know, not everybody does. The worst actually is, oops, I did not go back down in the right place. The worst is actually in the spring. Things, they melt and then refreeze, and the sidewalks have mostly sunk because they're old, and so you get pools of water that collect and then they freeze overnight. So yeah, you have to really watch it so you don't go flying. I think that's all I'm gonna get out of this one. Take a look at this other thread down here, see if it's, yeah, this one is a bit longer, so I will carry that one back up. But yeah, this one, I think this stitch that it's parked in is all I'm going to get. Yeah, so I actually don't mind that it's been a bit cooler the last few days, because people with the loud dog have kept it inside, so I haven't had to hear it. So that's a bit of relief. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's actually only been like one day a week that it barks all day, but it's enough that then that means the next few days, every time it barks even once, like, yeah, I feel that myself tense up, because it's like, oh no, it's going to start up again. I'm expecting it to last for an hour or something, so yeah. Yeah, and I still have a little bit of humming in my ear, but I'm getting more and more days where there isn't any at all. or if I do, it's only when I'm downstairs in the rec room because it's soundproofed. And so there's like no background noise to drown it out, and I'll hear it more there. But other than that, yeah, it is slowly but steadily improving. So yeah, thankfully I didn't need to have surgery or anything. It's wild though. I went through my childhood with almost no ear infections. I think I had one once. And then now as an adult, I get them more often. Like, it's usually supposed to be the other way around, because they said kids like that the tubes are shaped differently and they don't drain as well. And so that's why kids are more prone to getting them until they get older and sort of they get more efficient. It changes shape as their skull grows, and yeah, they get less of them. But yeah, unfortunately for me, I seem to be the opposite. I had really no problems when I was a kid, and I've had like 4 as an adult. Yeah, I remember I got 2 the year my kids started kindergarten because, yeah, unfortunately, it's just like a germ factory, right? Your kids bring home everything. They said, yeah, I used to think I had a good immune system, and then it turns out, no, I just didn't have a little person who would sneeze directly in my face. Oh, dear. Oh, I hope it's not going to start doing that again. Okay, good. Yeah, my tablet updated. It's the system files or whatever, system update yesterday, so hopefully it's not going to cause any glitches with the pattern keeper. So far it seems to be all right. And that one where it kind of pulls down like it did earlier, I had that before the maintenance, so don't know if I could really blame that for difficulties, but it seems to be okay. As long as I don't sort of touch too close to the edges of the screen, it generally doesn't do that. Yeah, because when I touch too close to the top, it thinks I'm trying to pull down the top menu when I'm not. Okay, so some purple. So yeah, I think it's mostly vine here. I don't know if we get much in this section. There's some flowers, but not yet. It's mostly vines here. There's a bit of purple, but not a ton. So, yeah. Okay, I think I will use up a tiny little scrap piece for the one in the corner. Then start a second one for the stitches lower down of this color. Okey-doke. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this time of year is I know the snow is coming soon, and yeah, snow was a novelty when I was a kid, but it certainly isn't when you're an adult. Oh, well, especially because I spent much of my childhood on Vancouver Island, and so snow was something that only happened every few years. If it did, it often turned into rain before it had a chance to stick, before you could actually do anything, play in it. So yeah, here we get snow for like 6 months, so yeah, it's not a special, unusual thing. Although my kiddo, he still loves it whenever it snows. But we'll see. Now he has to actually scrape ice off a windshield before he can drive to school, so we'll see how he thinks about it then. Yeah, we lived out here for a few years before my husband finally broke down and bought a snowblower. Yeah, doing that all by hand is a lot. Well, they said snow weighs more than you think, so even if your driveway is almost only covered by a couple of inches, if you add it all up, it can be literally like a ton of snow weight that you moved around, so yeah. Yeah, so as you can see from all the parked threads, there's a lot more of a color variety in this area here. ended up with a more straight edge lower down here. It just kind of worked out that way. So like I've said, I don't follow strict diagonals, just slowly growing out from the left edge towards the right. Yeah, I find not working strictly in rows or columns helps prevent there to be tension lines. Okay, so we have one part way over here, but I'm thinking, yeah, it's only enough for a couple of stitches. That's what I thought. That's usually what I do when I have a really short piece to park. I just park it where there's only a couple of stitches. Leave the areas where there's more stitches close together is where I add a new thread. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start doing some baking soon because my freezer is full of bananas. Yeah, my son likes them in his lunch, but he only likes them when they're green. And once they get any riper than that, he won't want to eat them. And so I end up freezing them for banana bread, but now I think I have like enough for like 8 loaves of banana bread in my freezer. So yeah, I really need to make some. Use some of those up. Yeah, fortunately, it's a big hit around here. Everybody likes it, so. But yeah, my husband's still away, so I'll probably wait till he gets home to make it. Yeah, it's kind of funny. My husband and son both like the end and corner pieces of things, and I don't. They like it, the crustier stuff, and I like it more soft. So like brownies, they always want the corner pieces. I like the center pieces. So it actually works out well, like with you know, loaf of banana bread. They each get one end and I get the center piece when I cut it into thirds, so everyone's happy. Yeah, I remember kids when we went to birthday parties. Kids always wanted the quarter piece because it had the most icing on it, and I actually don't like it that much. So yeah, parents loved me because I wasn't fighting over getting the one with like the icing rows on it. I always wanted the ones in the middle that had the least amount. Yeah, not a big icing fan. About the only kind I like is the filling they put in Nanaimo bars. Yeah, I like to make myself brownies, and then I use that for icing because yeah, I'm not a huge coconut fan, and the Nanaimo bars generally call for coconut. The pre-made ones, they use margarine, which is if I'm gonna eat it, I want butter. It just tastes so much better to me. And yeah, I remember for a while there, Rogers made this Nanaimo bar mix. It was so good. I don't know what they put in it. If maybe there wasn't coconut in the bottom, because it was like came with 3 different bags, and you just had to add, you know, butter and eggs and stuff. And yeah, I don't know what, but that bottom layer was so good. And I haven't been able to find a recipe to recreate it. They discontinued it years ago, and I have tried a dozen different recipes and have not been able to recreate it. And yeah, I tried one that had more graham crackers in it instead of coconut, but the texture wasn't right. The ones that came in that kit that I liked, I don't know, it almost had like an icing sugar kind of texture on the bottom. I don't know, but I've tried so many different, and they don't taste the same. And so finally I got sick of it and said, okay, well, you know what? I like the chocolate part, and I like the filling part, which has like icing sugar, a little bit of custard powder, some butter. It's really good. So instead, I basically use it, make icing out of it, and use that. So I call them my Nanaimo bar brownies. Yeah. I remember Superstore came up with their own Nanaimo bar kit, and so I tried it, and no, they were awful. I bought like 4 or 5 of them because they're one of those, like, they only have them around Christmas. So I bought a bunch, and then I tried one, and it was like, I didn't like it at all. And so yeah, I ended up donating the rest to the food bank because I did not want to eat them, and I didn't want to waste them. And I couldn't take them back because you can only take stuff back within like a couple of weeks. Yeah, it was too long by then, unless there's something actually wrong with it, which there wasn't. The fact that I thought it tasted gross, well, that doesn't count. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those people that can really tell the differences between brands of stuff. Yeah, like I remember I really like the apple cider mix Alpine makes. It's really good, and I tried other brands and they're just, no, they're not the same. I can tell. I tried making my own apple cider with my homemade apple juice, you know, and mulling it with the spices, but yeah, I don't know what it is, but the Alpine one, there's something about that taste that's just perfect. It's ruined me for all other for all others. Okay. 9, 3, 1. Yeah, these vines, it's kind of funny. There's almost no green on them. It's all blues and grays. Not what I'd usually expect, but I trust the pattern. It looks good. What I've done so far, I've been happy with. So, yeah. I haven't had a Heaven and Earth Designs chart steer me wrong yet, so. And I'm trying to think. This is the 3rd one I've stitched by Heaven and Earth Designs, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, I've done 3 by that, and I've done 3 by Artisy. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna have my house to myself for a bit here. Yeah. Kiddo's going to hang out with friends. And the other half is away, so yeah. It's just me. That's okay though, I don't mind. I'm actually someone who needs time alone. Yeah, I get really crabby if I don't get it, so. Okay, so I'm gonna do 1 out of order here just because of the way these threads were parked. But that's okay. So that means this stitch will have 3 sides of it completed instead of 2, which is what I normally try to keep to 1 to 2, but yeah, sometimes it just ends up that way. Yeah, so by myself I had a whole PVR full of movies, and yeah, like 4 of them in a row were just terrible. I watched like 15 minutes and then I was bored, deleted them. Oh. Yeah, I used to be a completist, but I'm not anymore. Same with books. I'm just like, there's so many stories out there. I'm never gonna have time to get through them all. So if you're boring me, I'm done. Or sometimes I'll just sort of fast forward to the very end just to see how it got resolved. Same with books, I'll flip to sort of the last chapter just to see how it ended. But I mean, some of them, you already know how it's going to end going in, which is fine because sometimes it's a story I want for the characters, and that's if the characters are not well drawn, they're not capturing me, then yeah, there's no point. Yes, I don't mind cliches if I love the characters. Oh, it was interesting. I read on Twitter, so I don't know whether this is true, but it was someone saying that the word cliche comes from the sound that the printing press used to make when it was making copies of stuff. So cliche, right? And that how it became a word that like something is a copy of other stuff, which I thought was really cool. So I don't know how true that is, but it sounds neat. Yeah, because they were saying like the reason we call them uppercase letters is because there were two cases of letters and the capitalized ones were literally in the upper case, which is just like, oh, well, that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting how these things stick in the language long after the meaning behind them has changed. Or like I remember as a kid saying, why is it called a double U when it looks like a double V? And I said, well, that's because it's from cursive, right? In cursive, it looks like U's, not V's. But we don't start with learning cursive, we start with learning print, so yeah. Although my husband said in Hungarian they actually do call it double V, although it's actually not a letter that they use in their alphabet. So actually it's interesting because Hungarian actually used to be a runic language, and that changed over the centuries. They were made to adopt the the standard alphabet that we know, and that's why they have letter combinations that don't have an equivalent in English, like CS together actually makes a CH sound. Yeah, which you never would have would guess if you don't speak the language. Yeah. But sort of that was the closest approximation to the corresponding rune was those two letters together. So yeah. Yeah, because my husband's name starts with the CS. So I said it really helps to filter out the telemarketers, because absolutely no one's going to pronounce that correctly. Unless I think we have one delivery person, I think must be Hungarian or speaks it, because he actually could pronounce it correctly. Because I'll have people, they're like, package for, and then they look at it and it's like, you could tell they have no idea how to say it. And I usually just go by the last name, because that one at least people can figure out by reading it. But yeah. Yeah. And then I said, and my name is really popular in the UK, but in North America, it's not. And so, yeah, I get a lot of people have no idea how to say it. And I'm like, well, it's gem, like gemstone, Gemma, right? But I just always automatically spell my name because people always try to do the J. Yeah. There was like Jenny, Jenna, because Jenna's pretty popular here. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually fun. One of my friends, she went to England with her grandmother. Well, she went for a wedding, but they ended up, being tourists for a while as well. They combined it into a trip. And so she came back with a bunch of stuff with my name on it from like the dollar store, because there it's really popular, so you can get it, but here you can't. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I actually still have the keychain she gave me. Yeah. That has the name on it. So yeah. Yeah, and it had, it says from the Latin precious jewel. And then it said a couple other things. And at the end it says she's placid and serene. I'm like, I don't think so. There's a lot of words that describe me, but I'm not sure that those are accurate. Oh my gosh. That's probably one of the reasons I gave my son a fairly common name, because I know how frustrating it is when you have a name that's not as common or has an unusual spelling. Yeah. They can be nice, but like I remember that was a baby name book I was looking through. This is, way back when we still used those. And yeah, they said, like, think of this spelling. It might be nice to do a unique spelling, but recognize that you've, you know, doomed your child to a lifetime of no, it's spelled like this. Yeah. Yeah, there was a bunch of ones they had. They said, like, consider how long the name is, because forms, they only have so many letters, and if the name takes up more than the standard spaces, that can be a real pain when you're having to fill out, yeah, official forms and stuff. They only give you like 17 characters, and if somebody's name is way longer than that, then yeah, it could be. And then there was ones they said, oh, watch for what combination of letters the initials are. They said, what was it? They said, don't pick a name that can be easily made fun of by a 9-year-old boy. And then the next rule said, watch for initials, something that spells out, ACE is fine. Something that spells out PP is probably not a good idea. And then it said, see rule number 2, because yeah, that'll get them made fun of. Yeah, I actually remember aunt and uncle of mine, their son, they call him by his middle name, but his official first name is because his initials spelled out JP, and they didn't want the kid to be JP, so they changed it around to PJ, but they always used the middle name because that was their preferred name. So yeah. Yeah, it's funny because they said they didn't want to be like JP Patches the Clown, which is funny because, of course, I was a kid, had never heard of him. But we had a lot of JPs in my generation growing up because of Pope John Paul. Yeah. There was always a kid in our class who was named John Paul because of that. So, yeah. It was pretty popular. Yeah, as I said, you can see I've got lots of different threads parked here. All right, I'm going to try and leave this one threaded. It's short, and I usually don't, but I'm planning to sort of just do these and come right back to it, so we'll see if I can get it to work or not. Yeah, so I can see there will be some purple closer to the far right edge because I got a whole ton of purple threads parked there. So yeah, this area here is more vines than flowers, and then we have some more wall, and then into flowers further to the right. Yeah, and then the next pass will be ocean. Not as many colors, so that should go really quick. Yeah, the next pass, at least for the first half of it, should go fairly quickly because we have that. And then we get to the penguin's chest, which is, again, not many colors. So, and then after that, we'll get to the tail feathers, the beginning of them, which will have a lot more confetti, I should think. Yeah, and we'll have another pass of the garden wall as well after that. So I'm at 21.79%. I said 23 was my goal, so we'll see if we make it or not. We'll get to 22 for sure. 22 and a half, I think, shouldn't be a problem, but yeah, we will see about whether we actually get to 23. I was hoping 25, but that is just not happening. Yeah, I went through a bout of mega tiredness the last couple of weeks, so I had time to stitch, but I just did not have the energy. Yeah, I wanted to, but I was so tired that if I did, I would have just screwed it all up. So yeah, as you can see, like I said, more confetti here, more color changes, so this is definitely going much slower, this area here. Because often by now we're getting closer to 100 than we are right now. We're only at 60 almost, so yeah. Oh, sorry. Bonking the camera there, y'all. I try not to do that, but sometimes it happens. Yeah, and I've been so tired again. I haven't been really practicing piano much either, because of course when I'm tired I just cannot cannot coordinate. Yeah, we had a scare with my grandma a couple weeks ago. She had a fall, and then she was very confused for a while, but so they were a little worried. I mean, she is 90, so yeah, she's getting up there, but yeah, she had to spend a few days in the hospital, but she improved a lot, and yeah, she's remembering all of us, because at first she was having trouble recognizing people that she knew, so yeah, that gave us quite a scare, but yeah, once they got her stable and healthy again, yeah, she started remembering much better. So yeah, we're too far away for me to visit. She's over a province away, so unfortunately, but yeah, my cousin was able to see her and was keeping us updated, and she had us send pictures, because she said pictures of loved ones, the faces, so we can see how well she's remembering. And then yeah, I sent one of my son and my cousin. Oh my gosh, he looks like Grandpa here. And yeah, I didn't notice until he was, I think it was his grade 1 school pictures, and I posted on Facebook, and my aunt said, oh my gosh, he looks like your grandpa. And I was like, oh, you're right, he totally does. Yeah. Not just the features, but also how he carries himself. Yeah, is similar, even though they never met. My grandpa passed away before my son was born, so yeah, unfortunately he didn't get to meet any of his great grandchildren. Mine was the oldest, as I'm the oldest grandchild, so I was the first one of us to have kids. But yeah, so when we went to a family reunion the year our son was born, he was a baby, like 4.5 months. And yeah, my grandma was holding him and said, okay, everyone can call me Gigi, G, 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 Yeah. She had 5 kids and 9 grandkids, and let me just think, 5 great-grandkids so far? Yeah, so. Yeah, it was nice actually. I remember growing up, we had family reunions every summer. So, because yeah, we're all scattered across the country. I have one aunt who lives in Ontario, has for years. Yeah, so it was nice. We would get together, rent a place on the beach. Yeah, we did that every year when I was growing up. And we did it again after my son was born. And then, yeah, it kind of fell out of favor. People got busy and yeah. Yeah, it was nice because my grandparents, they always did Christmas in July because they would travel to the States for the winter, so we wouldn't see them at actual Christmas. So yeah, they did that. Yeah. So it was never anything expensive or anything, but it was always fun. But it was always stuff they picked that was special. Like I remember my grandma, it was usually stuff they found at garage sales, but it was always stuff that was catered to your interests. So like I remember my grandma had found some cross stitch magazines somebody was selling, so she bought those for me. Yeah, that kind of thing. I still have them, I think, even though stitching from paper is something I doubt I'm gonna do again, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, it meant a lot because it meant that, you know, she remembered what my hobbies were. And yeah, instead of just getting something generic, you know, she always tried to get stuff that was personal. Okie doke. Pardon me. Okay, 3861. Let's see how much of this color I've got. Oh yeah, quite a bit. So I think I'm going to put this in my working tray because it looks like it's a color I'm going to be using a fair bit for the next while. Okay. So, yeah, I should say we'll hit 67,000 total completed today. So I was hoping for 70 by the end of the month, but I think, yeah, that might be more than I could manage. So we will see. We'll get what we get. Oh my goodness, pardon me. Oh. Trying not to tangle those there. Oh, geez, hitting the camera again. Sorry, y'all. 317. Yeah, this is a really popular color in like pretty much every every design I find that I've chosen to do. It's this bluish gray color. Yeah, it's super popular for rocks and things. In this case, vines. Oops. There it is. I always want to find the needle when I accidentally drop one like that because yeah, if they end up in my grime guard, then when I'm moving my frame and I take off the grime guard, I had where the needle flew out and went to the carpet, and then I couldn't find it again. And my poor husband found it in the worst way. Yeah, he stepped on it. Whoops. I said, one of the reasons I wear slippers, my feet are always cold, but there's also that. Yeah, they have rubber soles, so it gives you a little protection if you step on something sharp. Oh, the wildest was when we still had our guinea pig. The hay, unfortunately, gets everywhere, no matter how much you try to keep it contained, and those pieces can be really sharp. Yeah, if you step on them. The splinters, oh my gosh. Yeah, they hurt. So yeah, that was definitely a reason to wear slippers. So I'm thinking I'm going to work on this sort of little cluster up here, and then I'm going to carry on further downwards. So I won't have as many live needles. I'll come back up to the top again later. Dark purple here. This is what I'm definitely drawing across the back rather than pin stitching. Okay, we are finally going to hit 100. Yeah, it usually doesn't take me this long. Oops, oh my gosh, that was really off. I was like through the center of the thread there instead of where it should be. There we go. Yeah, with a dark color, you really can't fudge those because the white showing through makes it apparent that you didn't, yeah, stitch in the right place. $21.8. I think that's his, yeah, I don't have any others threaded, so I'm not going to work any further to the right. I'm gonna cut it off right here, and I'm gonna continue working my way downwards. Yeah, I often never really know where I'm going to cut it off till I actually get there. So all of those, set them aside. Okay, I'm going to go right to this corner here and then fill in, heading my way over. Oh, there's an actual green one. Like I said, not very many greens in this vine, but here is one that is actually green. And another one here. This is also green. Okay. Throwing a needle away again. Yeah, fog is burned off. It looks like we might actually get some blue sky out there today. That's nice. Well, it'll take 41 more stitches to reach 67,000. So how about we stitch until then, huh? Okay. Oh, I hate when I do that. Piece was so short. They unthread more easily. Oh, goodness. There we go. Oh, gosh, what a mess. There we go. You can see where it kinked up there in that knot. That's why once it forms a knot once, I find it can do it again more easily. 70,000 actually was okay. But yeah, to reach 25, I'd have to do like another, let's see, yeah, like 9,000 stitches or something. So yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen in the time I have left for this month. Especially since, like I said, I do want to work on Firefly a bit as well. Okay, closing in on 70,000. But as you can see, this is quite a high confetti area here. So that'll slow things down a bit. It's kind of a mix because as we get back into the wall, there's fewer colors, so that part will go a little quicker. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, pardon me. jeez. Almost threw my scissors on the floor there. That would have sucked. Yeah, because in order to reach them, I have to move my craft stand away so I can bend down to grab them. So, yeah, I hate when that happens because I'm usually boxed into my corner here on the couch. And yeah, that makes it tougher to... Maybe I need to get one of those grabby tools like my husband has for the garage. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I put that up in the wrong spot, right against the grid line there when it should have been against the bottom grid line. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can remove this or not. Yeah. There we go. There we go. That is the one drawback to doing a loop start from the front, is once you get that loop to go to the back, if you have to undo it again, it's tougher, as you could see. Yeah. But this is why I grid. Without it, I might not have realized I'd put that in the wrong place until later. That makes it harder to correct it if you've gone wrong. Okay, 5 more stitches and we will reach 70,000. Okay, do these ones that I've highlighted, and that will bring me to 70,000 completed. Nice round number to stop on. All right. Park that there. And there we go. Or, sorry, not 70,000. Geez, I can't math today. Yeah, saying 70 was my total. This is 67,000. I tell you, I may be awake, but maybe my brain isn't quite. Anyway, yeah, there we go. We're at 67,000 even. Did almost 200 stitches, which isn't bad considering how many color changes there were in that area. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. Great, thanks everyone.